You know, what really helps when you feel fear? Laughing.
You don't really know who you are or what you are until you put a really big challenge in front of you.
Fear is an asset and ally here to help you be magnificent.
This crazy, silly, stupid idea to run across the Sahara Desert.
You did make it this time, but you said if you didn't make it, you would try again and again.
Everybody's connected to nature, connected to music, to their families, and now we're going to build a world that doesn't have racism and war and starving kids.
I kept telling myself, run at me, and just keep smiling.
Good morning, Edith.
Good morning, Jean. How are you?
I am doing good. And you?
All good. All fearless.
Right. Excellent. So I am recording now. Is that all right?
Sure.
Great. We can kind of just jump into it. So I might have forgotten to tell you, but I record all of my podcasts. Well, not all, most of it, like almost all of them, except for maybe like one or two, have been outdoors on a walk or a run.
How cool is that?
So the one that I did with Kathrine was actually really great. It was in Boston, right before the Boston Marathon. We kind of walked on Boylston Street. It was really great with a whole bunch of people from 261 Fearless. It was really special. So I'm right now walking in my neighborhood in New York City. It's a beautiful morning in New York. Just finished my run on the East River with the sunrise. And it's one of those crisp fall mornings. The leaves are starting to turn yellow. It's a beautiful day. So you're in Austria, right?
Yes, I'm in Austria. Okay. I'm Austrian.
And where in Austria are you?
I'm in Carinthia. This is a region in the south. And when I look out of my living room, I can see the mountains, which are the border to Slovenia and Italy. So from where I live, it takes me about 2.5 hours to get to the airport of Venice. So
wow. So that's the nearest airport is Venice?
International, yes.
And so those are the famous Corinthian mountains?
Yes.
Very nice. Is that where you grew up?
No, I'm originally from the region around Vienna. So this is northeast from here. I was born there and grew up there. And about 12 years ago, we moved to Carinthia.
So nice. And I understand that you're a big trail runner out there, huh?
Yes, I am.
What a place to go trail running.
It's awesome. There are so many trails here within an hour drive, and a lot to explore.
I like to do trail running as well. I much prefer to the road. And where I go, my wife and I like to go to a place called New Paltz, which is where Kathrine lives.
Yes.
I'm not sure if have you ever run in New Paltz with Kathrine?
Yes, many times up there at Mohonk. Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
It's beautiful, especially this time of year. And with COVID, we actually haven't been able to get up there, but this weekend we are going to rent a car and get up there. I'm so pumped because with the leaves changing, like it is my favorite time of the year, the fall. It's a little bit weird this year because one of the things that makes it my favorite time of the year is that it's always marathon season and you have that excitement in the training but it's still, with the fall leaves and everything, it's really spectacular. So excited to get up there. How does the trail running by you compare to like the trail running in New Paltz? I imagine it's a lot steeper.
It depends. It depends. I mean, you can have really rocky, very vertical climbs more in the south. When you go towards north, it's how to say, it's similar to New Paltz, so it's not so steep, and but you can get pretty quickly up to 2,000 meter. So you have no trees anymore. You're just out there, and I won't call it flat, but it's you're running like on a summit hill, back for kilometers. It's beautiful. So you can get whatever you want.
That is amazing. So I would love to, kind of see
Should
places
come
like
over
that. So
here.
hopefully one day when this pandemic is over and we can travel again, that is definitely somewhere that I'd love to come trail running.
Yeah,
Is there a lot of skiing
put
there
it
in the
on your
winter
list.
as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the very first alpine ski racer who was able to live out of this profession, he comes from here. So Franz Klammer, I'm not sure if this is a name, you know.
Yeah, my parents used to call me Franz Klammer.
So he was born actually 40 minutes from here. He lives also here. And so, yeah, you can ski, you can do alpine skiing. You can also, how do you call it? Like do mountaineering. You can go cross country skiing. So it's just, the factor is there snow or not? That's always the question.
Yeah, very nice. So I guess just to kind of set the scene for the people out there who are hopefully walking or running along with us right now, we were introduced by Kathrine, who I've referred to a few times now. That's Kathrine Switzer, the first woman to officially run the Boston Marathon. Did a great podcast with her, I guess almost a year and a half ago at the last Boston Marathon that was actually run. So they didn't run it the past year, but I guess the 2019 Boston Marathon. And so Kathrine, on top of her famed running career and journalism career, is the founder of 261 Fearless, which is an incredible organization empowering women through running and lots of other things. And Edith, you are the executive director of
I'm the co-founder. I'm the co-founder together with Kathrine and the CEO of the global organization. Yeah.
So can you, I guess, share with the people who are walking or running along with us, how you came to meet Kathrine and help co-found 261 Fearless, what it is and what you guys are up to, what you women are up to?
Yeah, so I met Kathrine actually through running, and it's been, I think, 15 years ago, and it became
50 or 15?
15.
Okay.
15. 15 years ago, and this has been a wonderful moment in my life, and since then we have created a wonderful friendship, and out of this friendship, we were able to set up this nonprofit. And how did it come? So I've been in running all my life, or in sports, and women came to me and said, we want to run too, but we are a little bit anxious to go to mixed groups, or I don't know how to start. I feel insecure. How can I do that? And so I came up with the idea to form women's only running group, but not with the purpose to prepare them for a race or make them fast or whatever, but just help them to get into running and feel this empowering moment that they can take with them into other areas of their lives. And at this time, Kathrine and I were also discussing about 261, that women came to her and said, 261, this is such an amazing symbol for them to overcome fear and become fearless. And so we combined those two angles, and then we came up with the idea to form 261 Fearless, which is about uniting and educating women to become empowered through running.
And 261 is the symbol of that. That is the number that Kathrine wore in the Boston Marathon when she kind of snuck in there.
Right.
As KV Switzer, they didn't know that she was registering as a woman. So you've got this incredible symbolism. and you've got this incredible mission. How long ago was it that you founded 261?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
We became official. Yeah.
Great. And what is it that you are doing now? How has it grown since then?
So since then, we have a unique education program for women who want to step up and want to give back what they have gained through running. So we educate women to become 261 coaches, that they go back into their communities and help women to start running, to keep the joy of running with them, and create a very supportive and non-judgmental community. And so this is the educational component. That's what we are doing, not only initially, but we also continue supporting those educated 261 coaches. We provide ongoing education and a network where those coaches from around the world have the opportunity to connect. And then we have this 261 Club network. So that's where the certified coaches, when they get back, where they can set up their groups and run the program on the ground in the communities where they live. So we support this with mentoring, with outreach programs, and also try through our voice to inspire women to join these groups. And what has happened since we started? Currently, we are in 12 countries on 5 continents.
Wow. And how many coaches or groups do you have around the world?
So we have almost 200 coaches, and they are leading about 45 groups globally. Wow. Under the wings of 12 national chapters.
And how many women are either in the program or have gone through the program approximately?
Woo. More than 1,000, but yeah.
I remember when I was walking with
Kathrine
in Boston, it was part of this big group that all came out of women from 261 Fearless, and we were all walking together, and there was a number of different women who kind of came up and shared their story with Kathrine, and I got to just, because I was right there, just listen to it. And, you know, women who never thought they could walk around the block, you know, and here they are, they've started running. They've not all run marathons or anything, you know, they run, 5 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles, whatever, but it's a huge accomplishment for them. And you can see what the difference it's made for them. They've lost hundreds of pounds, some of them, they've changed their life, they've gotten new jobs, just really incredible. Are there any stories of women that have gone through the program that stand out to you where you're just like, wow, I can't believe that, I was a part of that?
It's about this individual personal stories. What sounds perhaps for somebody else nothing super duper is for this person a Mount Everest, to get on the summit of the Mount Everest. And just to point out, for example, we have 2 amazing coaches in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Wow.
So they came to Europe. This was their first international trip to become educated, to become a 261 coach. And one of those women survived the Civil War. And she said, the only thing I did I thought about when I heard the word running was running away from war. And now I'm here and I'm in love with running. I enjoy running because it gives me much more than my life. It gives me health, it gives me friends. I want to give this to other women. And she's amazing. She has an amazing personal story, and also her development in terms of gaining knowledge also about women's health and how she's sharing this with women in her community there is wonderful. But we don't need to go that far. For example, we launched here in Austria, actually in Vienna, a program for women who came to Austria and waiting for asylum. So most of them are from Syria or Afghanistan. And so they are like in a spot where they can't work. They don't know if they're allowed to stay here. in Austria. And we formed a group for them, a multicultural group where we invite women from Austrians, refugees, immigrants, whatever. And they run together and they speak German only within this group. So these women who came to our country now have the opportunity to learn the language even faster. They connect with other women, they find new friends, a wonderful network. And the amazing thing is, after those 2 years, 2 women out of this refugee community was able to get through our training. They became coaches, and now they are leading the groups too, and bring the idea to other women of their cultures. And friendships were, they made friends with women from other beliefs, from other backgrounds, and it's just amazing how they developed. And actually one already got a job here in Austria, so that's amazing. And a third example is simply there were women, they couldn't run, they came, they had a lot of fear to do the first step. We took them by the hands, they started running, and you know what, after a year they were new people, like new job, they had much more self-esteem. Some gave up their relationship and found their new dream partner. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see how they develop.
There's so many questions that are kind of going through my head right now. I don't know which order to ask them. One of the questions, I think, which is somewhat of a rhetorical question, is why do you think that running is something that causes a feeling of fear or anxiety for women?
Because in general, many societies are set up by judging. And if you can't start running out like somebody else, you feel intimidated. If you feel intimidated because the other one is perhaps faster, or especially women, do I look good? And this is something that holds back a lot of women. Just the anxiety to be judged. And somebody would point out to her and say, well, I told you, you can't do this. You can't run that far or that fast or that well. So they don't even start because they don't want to be judged.
One of the reasons that I kind of was thinking through that question and said that I was asking it rhetorically is because as I was thinking of the question in my head, I kind of also answered it in my head along the lines of what you said, a little bit more personally. Like, I go through periods that, I love to run. Sometimes I'm in better shape than or worse shape than I am in. And I find that when, like right now, I'm not in as good a shape as I would like to be, it's harder for me to get out of bed in the morning to run. And I'm thinking about it, and I think that it really is, it's a feeling of fear and anxiety that I feel like that I'm judging myself. I'm going to be going out there. I'm not going to be moving as swiftly as I would like. And
Yes.
It's like a feeling of like judging myself that is, not a feeling that I like. I, kind of maybe sometimes will talk down to myself. Like, how did I let myself get, fall out of shape or something like that. So I kind of can empathize with the way that somebody else might feel. Sometimes, you feel like so scared because like you're going to get out there and you're not going to perform, or you're going to try to go for a run and you can't even make it to the mailbox. But then when you do it, even if you just make it to the mailbox, it's just like a feeling of triumph that you did it, that you went, you felt the fear, you stood in the face of that fear and you did it anyway. That in itself, even if you're not moving as swiftly as you like, it just feels great. It's just a feeling of achievement. It's like a small little win in the day, before you even start your day, to get that run in with the sunrise, the fresh air, the leaves. It does something for you when you can look that fear in the eyes. It's also interesting. So the other question that I was going to ask, and I was going to relate it to another podcast that I did with a woman named Kristen Ulmer, who was a very famous extreme skier, and she writes a lot about fear. And we did a podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts that we have ever done. We talk about fear, and she talks about how you shouldn't try to be fearless necessarily. Fear is something that, if you embrace, can propel you to new heights. And
Absolutely.
it's not about, ignoring your fear or conquering your fear, but about embracing your fear and deciding what to do with that fear and use it in a productive way. And so, not to say, 261 Fearless is a great name, but like when these women come in afraid of running, what do you say to them about that fear? How do you help them think about, embrace, handle whatever that fear, so that fear can then, in fact, propel them to new achievements?
What really helps when you feel fear? Laughing. Simply laughing.
Laugh in the face of fear.
Yeah. And getting into the moment and live the moment. So what we do not talk long about anxiety or fear. We just take this woman by her hand, take her as she is. We walk, we run, and what we have in our 261 curriculum is that we emphasize a lot on running games, coordination games, and so on. So you forget everything around you because you're so focused to do it, and it's always combined with fun. So you start laughing. It's not very serious, and you don't need to look at your watch or what your heart rate does. It's just about enjoying laughing. And suddenly you forget your fear. And then you realize, okay, I faced it and I took it as a positive thing to overcome it. And it was fun. And then it's much easier to come back the next time.
I like that. That's great. So what would you say to a woman who might be listening to this that maybe hasn't really started running yet, or maybe is just starting to run, thinking about it, but has that anxiety, has a little bit of fear, or something that's holding her back from really getting into it? What would you say to her to kind of help her get moving?
I absolutely understand that she has her concerns and her fears, but she's not alone out there. So exploring, are there women's only groups out there for beginners, or 5-2K, or 261 groups, 261 clubs? Just show up. And I know perhaps it takes you 1, 2, or 3 tries. Perhaps you even drive there and wait in the parking lot and turn around. It's okay. But then at the 4th time, you will go out of the car and say hello, and you will be welcomed. And don't feel guilty about this fear. It's good. And it will, when you decide that you want to overcome this fear, you will be rewarded, and you're gonna have a lot of friends out there who will celebrate with you. So take it as the next step, or take it as a step to the next level, to a wonderful journey. I mean, I have to travel a lot thanks to 261. I love to travel, but sometimes I feel quite fearful in an airplane, but I know what's waiting when I land there. So just thinking about the reward can help.
And I know that you have, one of the things that, Kathrine emailed me about, which kind of prompted this podcast, is that you have a womanar that you're coming out with. And so I wanted to take a couple minutes just to tell people about that before we wrap up. And how do you, what is this womanar about? What is a womanar? I think that's a cool name for it. And also maybe how do you take some of these kind of skills or mindsets that you're talking about in the context of running and translate that into like a non-running scenario?
Mm.
Like you said, getting on an airplane.
Mm. Actually, it was a wonderful introduction already into our 261 forward webinar, which is a series of webinars where we talk about fear and a journey from fear to fearlessness. And you brought so many wonderful points up, and this is what we are talking about, and where we share our experiences from different angles, where we share stories from women out of our 261 community, and yeah, try to help women to take the step to the next level, because currently there is so much anxiety and uncertainty out there, and we want to help. And physical activity, no matter if it's walking or running or cycling or swimming, any physical movement can help to deal with this fear. And like you said, embrace it. Do not try to fight against this. It's not the successful way. And we try to give some tips, motivational stories, and the first release will be on October 26th, and then there will be 4 more webinars. They are pre-recorded, and the last one is on March 7th, so the eve to International Women's Day, where all the speakers will be live, and people can ask questions and also come up with their fearless journeys.
Who are some of the speakers, and what are some of the topics that you'll be covering in the webinars?
So we have 4 speakers. It's Kathrine Switzer, Juliet McGrattan, she's our health expert within 261 Fearless. Then Lisa Ruggles, she's also a wonderful colleague within our 261 Fearless team. She is the director of the 261 Club UK, and also a master coach who teaches new 261 coaches, and myself. And what kind of topics do we touch? So definitely healthy life is a fearless life, the transition from the first step to running, then community over competition, so the social aspect that is important to deal with fear, and also education, because knowledge can help you to make a plan to overcome fear. And as I said before, a lot of inspirational stories, how other women handled this situation.
And where can people go to find out more about this?
Yeah, go on 261fearless.org/webinar.
Webinar, that's awesome. Anything else that you'd kind of like to share with us before we wrap it up?
Good question.
Any calls to action that you'd like to make to the people walking and running along with us?
Enjoy every step. It doesn't matter if it's fast or slow. It's just about moving, because moving your body also means moving your mind, and then you can really conquer the world. No matter how difficult the situation is, how uncertain the world circumstances are out there, moving is always a good recipe to feel better and find a plan how to handle different situations.
Love it. Edith, thank you so much for taking the time. Hope it's a beautiful day over there. What time is it over there in Austria right now?
Currently, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, so
right.
There are 6 hours between us. And I want to thank you, Jane. It's a wonderful talking with you, and you walking around. That it makes me like I need to go out and run and walk too.
There you go. Did you already get your run in today, or do you still have some time to maybe get out into the mountains?
No, today I got an early morning run in because I love it in the morning. It gives me energy for the day. And I also like the area where you are walking around, because when I'm in New York, I try to run on the riverside, either Hudson River or East River. It's so beautiful there.
Yeah, I ran the East River this morning. I live close to the East River. Sunrise comes up. It's spectacular. So maybe even though you got your run in, you can go out and walk a little bit. We call that going the
I
extra
will.
mile.
Yes, absolutely. I will. I will.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Edith. It's really great speaking with you. And thanks to everybody
Thank
out
you.
there for walking or running along with us. Every mile matters.
Thank you so much. Take care, stay healthy and fearless.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Edith. Take care.